Hey everybody, welcome back to the center lane, the political discussion for the silent majority, those of us who want some common ground between our government officials out there. Start acting like adults, please, not little babies. Just want to talk today about a couple things, little random things. But first off, I wanted to talk about Biden and the fact that there's a real good chance this guy could lose, regardless of who he goes up against. On the Republican side, looks like Trump, and it probably will be Trump unless, something happens with either one of these guys, they die on us. Sorry, didn't mean I shouldn't have said that, right? Anyways, but I thought there's three main reasons why I think Biden has a really good, right now, he's kind of paddling upstream. He's got some pretty tough headwinds in front of him. The first one is his son, obviously, the Hunter Biden thing there, the Hunter Biden incidents or whatever. That is creating a real problem for Joe Biden. I mean, his son, was peddling influence. He was. Now, his son needs to be investigated, needs to be punished. All those things need to happen. I mean, I would say 100%, do not stop that. But what it brings it up to is kind of the second thing that's going to hurt Biden is that this is leading to now an impeachment proceeding from the Republican side. Now, it ain't going nowhere. He's not getting impeached. I mean, it's there to appease the people on the hard right so that McCarthy can get him not lose his speakership job and not have the government shut down in a couple weeks. And these people, this minority in the Republican side, the Matt Gaetzes and the Margaret Taylor Greene, whatever the heck her name is, MTG. I mean, they have way too much power right now, man. It's unbelievable. Think about it. There's 436 people in Congress. You got a handful, maybe 15, 20 of them are holding this country hostage with their somewhat crazy ideas, too hard to the right, and just some of it's just pure nonsense. It's not even about politics. It's about their brands, and I've talked about these politicians who want to raise their brands and their profile and be celebrities. But how about doing what we put you there for? Elections matter. They have results. Results matter. You guys got to vote. You got to make sure you're checking out the people you're voting for, so we don't get what's happening here now. I mean, the only reason Margaret Taylor Greene is even in Congress right now is because in Georgia, you don't have to live in the county or whatever it is that your area as a congressperson. You don't have to live there. She lives in some swanky place. She's very wealthy, by the way, and she represents an area in northeast Georgia, up in the mountains, the hills, very hard Trump country. She goes in there every 2 years, buys everybody a big barbecue. You know what I mean? And they vote her in. It's gonna be hard to get rid of her. It's going to be very difficult to get rid of her. So that's kind of what's going on with this impeachment deal too. I think it's like people like her who like to, tell us that they're giving everybody hell up there for you. We're fighting for you. And what are you fighting for? I don't think you're fighting for, I don't think you're fighting for the things you say are. So anyway, that's going to be a real problem for Biden. McCarthy was trying to find a center lane in that crazy section of the party where he can at least, try to not have the government shut down. He's got his own issues. I get it. He's got a gun to his head. Another reason I think, though, Joe Biden is have a really big chance of losing, though, too, is his age, obviously. It's a huge, nothing's going to change that. That's not the Republicans putting them down. That's just, we're all aging. Every year, I guess what, when Joe Biden gets a year older, I get a year older, you get a year older, we all get older. That's just the way it is. But at some point, you got to say, I'm old enough, I need to move on. I can't remember which one of the popes it was. I think it was Benedict. He's the only pope that actually retired because he got in his 80s and said, you know what, this job is too hard for me. And he retired. Most of the popes, they die in the job. And, with varying degrees, sometimes people are losing their, their best days, I'll put it to you that way. And they can't do that job anymore. It's too much. Being president of the United States is a tough job, it's a lot. So that age thing is really, really hurting them. And on the third part of that, why I think Biden's in trouble is since the age and since the Hunter Biden thing is, I know that a lot of times, Trump used to always say fake news, they're after me, the press is after me. But I'll tell you what, man, it's like they're after Biden right now. I mean, they catch every little screw up he does as far as in his speeches, and they catch him napping, they catch him saying stupid things in Vietnam and walking off in the middle of a press thing like he doesn't know where he's at. I mean, they got the cameras rolling on this guy, and it's getting prime time. You can't get away from it. So when a person goes into the voting booth next year and they think about man, look at this guy, you know, I mean, and he's got 4 more years. I don't know if that's going to be a good deal for the country, and it's going to be very difficult for him to, you know, it's very difficult to fight that. Speaking of which, his counterpart, Donald Trump, if you guys watched Meet the Press yesterday, that hour-long interview, tried to watch most of it. It was, I mean, he's hard to watch after a while. I mean, he is the art of the deal. I think he's more the art of the, you know, evasiveness. He doesn't answer questions, and he talks over this lady, I can't remember her name, who's her first day on the job as being the host of Meet the Press too. She had a tough first day, but Trump's just a handful. I mean, and he's still talking about having the election stolen from him. He's going, you know, all these things. He's going to fix Ukraine in a day. He's going to, you know, he's going to make everything the world better within 2 or 3 days. And it's like, you know, that's not possible. Hey, you know, it's just not. So he did say a couple things that made me think that, you know, I mean, I think he still has somewhat of his wits about him, but he don't come across, he's cringeworthy too. Just forget about what he's talking about. Just watching him talk and meander on, it's like, man, this guy's he's too old for this job, man. You know, they both are. So either one of those guys gets on for an interview or they start to talk, I just sit back and go, what are they going to say? Not so much the substance, but what are they going to do that's make me going to think that, dude, put a, you know, time to go quietly into that good night, you know, be a elder statesman somewhere, be a king builder. Trump could be the next king builder. Biden could give good, you know, he could help the next president, be a coach to him of some sort, you know, behind the scenes, whatever. They have value. I'm not saying when you get old, you got no value, but it's just, we gotta get somebody younger in there, man. Mitt Romney retiring, I think he's just like, you know, it's time for the next generation. He's the last of the serious guys in Congress anyways, it seems like anymore, where he's only a senator for 6 years. He had enough. He's like, I could win again, but, you know, people like him get frustrated with all the nonsense that's going on around there. So, you know, good luck to Mitt Romney. I voted for him in 2012. I told you, I like Mitt Romney, you know, everything he believes in. No, I don't. But, you know, I think he was a good businessman, which I like. And I think at the end of the day, he's fair-minded. And that's all most of us want, just a fair-minded person on either side. If you're going to be a little bit to the right of me, you know, as long as you can listen to me and we can have some kind of a, you know, compromise, I'm good with that. Same thing on the left, you know. But I don't know. I'm sorry. It's kind of a bummer just even talking about the stuff like this right now, because it does kind of bum me out that, you know, our government just isn't what it could be, you know, what it should be. The forefathers are really smart. And by the way, they worked for nothing. They didn't get a salary. They didn't get health insurance back in 1776 or nothing. You know, they did it because they wanted to build something. And I just hope that somehow, some way we can get back to that, you know. So we'll see what happens. A lot can happen in the next year. But we need to get some serious-minded people in there. That's all I'm saying. Just go in there and do your job and do it. Don't do it because you want the camera on you and you want to increase your profile, or like Lauren Boebert there with the thing she did the other day in the Denver theater, watching that play and acting like a fool and then denying it at first. Then she made some apology, which blamed her divorce. But then again, you know, she didn't write that. You know, somebody wrote it for her. And then I just saw on her yesterday, she's on Newsmax, and she thinks he's back to saying, oh, I think the left had it out for me because I'm a Magna girl and Denver's liberal, and they had the camera on me because they were trying to catch me doing, you know, a bunch of nonsense, right? So she learned nothing from that. Surprise, surprise. And I would just ask the people of Colorado that voted her in to really look at that. I mean, she's not a serious person, man. She's not, you know. She wants to be famous, and she's famous. So I guess she got what she wanted, right? Anyways, hate to end it on a note like that, but better days are ahead of us, and I really appreciate you listening. So if you like it, go ahead and hit that like button down there, and go to my channel. I just finished my novel now, so I got a free audiobook on there called Bear. So check that out if you want. It's free. It's a good price, right? And I'd like some feedback on that, and I appreciate it. See you later.